After anticipating another postseason appearance, the Orioles can't get out of their own way. Wet the bed yet again for the second straight season at home in the playoffs, and lay an Oriole bird-sized egg on Tuesday afternoon and fall to the Kansas City Royals 1-0, and fall behind in the best-of-3 series 1-0, pretty much putting their season on the line tomorrow. It's the Flex Zone Podcast, God's favorite host. Why do we even try anymore? Your place for the Orioles content that you love. The Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you sports how you want it when you need it. You guys knew I was going to talk about this game, as this is the Orioles post-game show, the Orioles therapy session, as we got a lot to talk about Birdland. The Orioles fall to the Kansas City Royals 1-0, and they waste an all-time great playoff performance in Orioles history by the guy they went out and traded for this offseason to come out and be on the mound in game one of a playoff series at home to do what he did, and for us to not even be able to score one singular run. Someone needs that answer. Because this is unacceptable. The same horrific offense that we've seen pretty much since the end of June going into the All-Star break has reared its ugliest head at the worst time. In Birdland, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Flex Zone family who were fortunate enough to get to the game today, I heard the prices of tickets were affordable, took off work, took time out of your busy schedule, took time from spending it with your family, your loved ones, your significant other, your kids, being at work, having to use a sick day or personal time, or coming up with a BS excuse to get off so you don't get in trouble. This is what we're rewarded with. After a season where we had some injuries, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. The end of the season in September, you show a little bit of fight, a little glimmer of hope for us here at Birdland, thinking, well, maybe this year it could be better. This year it could be different. They're playing better going into the playoffs. They're hitting going into the playoffs. They have one of the best starting rotations in baseball, which we saw evident today. They wet the bed. They wet through the diaper, through the pull-up, right through the bed, into the sheet, onto your actual mattress with a stain that ain't never coming out. Because the 2024 Birdland season, the Orioles season, may only have 9 innings left. The 9th consecutive playoff loss at the hands to the Royals, a team that swept them in 2014. We talked about getting our lick back, talking about spending the block, getting revenge. We didn't get a damn thing but another disappointing showing and essentially an ass whooping. We got Corbin Burnes specifically for this game. It didn't matter. It did not matter. This brother pitched an immaculate game. He's never pitched a complete game. But this is as close as we were going to get. He goes 8 innings. Only 5 hits. 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 Ks. What more do you want? And as I bring up the box score and we look at it, for years, me personally as an Orioles fan, me personally as a baseball fan, me personally knowing what it takes to get over the hump in October and win and make deep playoff runs, pitching in the postseason is paramount. Great pitching beats great hitting. We've seen it year in and year out, and the Orioles finally seem to have a rotation. with a guy in the name of Corbin Burnes leading the way, who can be everything you want him to be and then some. One of the 5 or 10 best pitchers in baseball, depending on who you ask. He started the All-Star game this year. He won 15 games. He pitched nearly 200 innings. 8 innings. And he probably could have went another inning if needed. And we can't muster up a single run. He retired 10 consecutive batters after he let off a single to open the game. We know about him letting or allowing the leadoff home runs or letting the hit go. But after that, he had 10 consecutive outs. Michael Massey had a bloop single to lead off the game. And from the get-go, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But Burnes settled right in. His cutter was cutting. It was getting and inducing a lot of ground balls. His fastball placement was great. His off-speed stuff was well placed in different counts. As mentioned, he only had 1 walk. He kept guys off base. Didn't give up any home runs. Only 5 hits. And like I said, he gave up the 1 single and then 10 consecutive outs. You look at the landscape of baseball. You look at Tarek Skubal this week, what he did today. You look at King for the Padres, what he did today. Severino for the Mets. You got to be able to pitch to win. And the Orioles legitimately had the starting pitching. The bullpen, we know, is shaky. I'm not going to get to that because they didn't really have to do anything today. And when they came in, Sir Anthony and others, they did what they were supposed to. Keegan Aiken, they did what they were supposed to. So the pitching as a whole, outside of Burnes, going to Aiken for 2/3 of an inning, going to Sir Anthony for 1/3 of an inning, he got a strikeout. They gave up no hits, 1 strikeout, no walks, no earn. In 16 pitches. Burnes only threw 84 pitches, 56 of them were strikes. The 5th inning is kind of where the game really pissed me off. And I'll get to that in a second because in the 1st and the 2nd, the Birds went 3 up, 3 down. 6 of the first 7 were retired, and then they squandered an opportunity in the 3rd inning. Cedric Mullins was literally the offense today. He went, 2 for 2, did Mullins, had a double, and 2 for 3 with the double and a single. The double off of the right field wall, he did kind of peek at to see if it was going out of the ballpark. Probably should have been a home run, but we know the scoreboard out there turns into a double. They had a man on second with no outs. They can't even manufacture 1 run. James McCann came up, had an 8-pitch at bat, and he struck out. I really didn't want James McCann in the lineup. We know he is good behind the plate with Corbin Burnes. We know he's better at holding runners. We know the Royals like to run on the base paths. I feel like him and Adley are the same defensively. One isn't significantly better than the other. One doesn't significantly call a better game than the others. You have a catcher in Adley. Let's make sure he's behind the plate with your ace. And with that being said, I'm putting McCann on the bench. We've seen all of the players on the roster, the pinch hitters. We know the Orioles have the best batting average with pinch hitters in the major leagues, or at least in the American League. I need Ryan O'Hearn in the lineup. I don't need him pinch hitting. I'm putting Ryan O'Hearn at DH. I'm putting Rutschman behind the plate. And then later in the game, if we need to make a defensive change, put Rutschman at DH or something, cool. And put McCann in, cool. But I need Ryan O'Hearn, who's actually hit the ball better over the last few weeks in the game. We know the Orioles had the power, literally as second in the American League, second in the major leagues in home runs behind the Yankees. They could have tied this game up with 1 swing. And unfortunately, James McCann, bringing in Emmanuel Rivera, who's been a nice utility piece. Mike Elias always seems to find at least 1 or 2 of those guys a year. Position player and a pitcher. Need guys who can hit the ball in the game. You got to be able to score more than 1 run. Kerstad came in and pitched hit for Urias. But I think I need Ryan O'Hearn in from the get-go. We know he's a lefty, yes. We know Ragans He is a lefty, hence why we had a lot of righties in the lineup. But I need my best hitters in. It's October. We have limited opportunities to score. Cole Ragans was fantastic. 6 innings, 4 hits, 8 Ks, no walks, no earned. We even got a blessing. He left the game due to muscle cramps in his calf. But we couldn't take advantage. Of course we can't. What are we going to do? Take advantage of the bullpen that's struggled a little bit, in my opinion, even though their bullpen may be more solid than ours. Reagan's goes 6, 4 hits, 8 Ks, 80 pitches, probably had another 2 innings in him at least. Long comes in, 1 inning, no hits, 10 pitches. Bupic, 2/3 of an inning, gives up 1 hit with 20 pitches. Eric, the closer, 1 1/3, 2 strikeouts, 23 pitches. They shut us down. We only had five hits the entire game. The O's were what, 1 of 7 with runners in scoring position. Gunnar Henderson had a ground out. Westberg had a short shot to deep left field, but it died at Baltimore at the left field wall. I know a lot of people are pissed off about that. It would have been a two-run homer, but in 20 out of 30 ballparks, that is a home run, but not in Camden Yards. The same things that make you laugh make you cry. We love when the wall helps us out or saves us from a home run or a big time hit. But when it works against you, you hate it and you want them to move the dimensions back to where they were before. But the bottom of the fifth, I said it a little bit a few minutes ago, the Royals gave the Orioles the game. 1 out. Urias had a catchable ball that should have been a flyout. Melendez misses it. He overruns the ball, falls down. Urias gets a double. Mullins on his 30th birthday. Happy birthday to you, by the way, Cedric Mullins. I saw you with the orange suit earlier. You were quite dapper. Happy birthday. He had a single. Urias didn't get the best read on it, so he stayed at third. Okay, cool. Probably should have been sent because it looks like he would have been able to score. He has enough speed, but they hold him. Cool. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Remember earlier, man on second, no outs, no runs. Man on third, 1 out, no runs. The crowd tried to come to life, and I'm not going to fault the Birdland crowd. I'm not going to fault anybody at the game, but it seems like there was a lot of angst. There was a lot of nervousness, as I can expect, as it should be. A lot of waiting for something to get excited about, kind of sitting on their hands. You could hear a pin drop a lot of times because I think they were nervous and they realized the severity and gravity of the situation that this team, their buttholes were getting tight. The game was getting later and later. They couldn't get men on base. They couldn't hit. Gunner didn't do anything. Rushman didn't do anything. Santander didn't do anything. Mountcastle, I don't know what the hell he was swinging on. He didn't do anything. O'Hearn had a walk. Cowser had a hit. But outside of that, nothing. Urias had a hit that was supposed to be an out. Kerstad, nothing. And Mullins was your only offense, really. And then James McCann comes up again. A terrible at bat. Only 3 pitches. One of my keys in this series was to obviously contain them on the base pass, which they didn't do. Don't let Bobby Witt beat you, which he did with the 2-out single in the sixth as they manufactured a run, got on base, stole a base, moved a runner over with a hit to the right side, a productive out, and then a single. Manufacturing runs, playing small ball in the postseason. Man, how good is Bobby Witt? And to know we passed on him and took Adley Rutschman, looking at Adley Rutschman right now, I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's just having the worst slump of his career. Having Bobby Witt and possibly Gunnar Henderson looks really, really good in hindsight, which is obviously 2020. But James McCann, he struck out on 3 pitches. The last one was a breaking ball in the dirt. That's why I don't need James McCann in the lineup. If you want to bring him in the 6th, 7th, 8th for defense, cool. But I need Ryan O'Hearn in the game. I need Kerstad in the game. I don't care if they're lefties. I need your best hitters on the field in the lineup. You want to have O'Hearn in the game? Cool. You want to make a pinch hit for Urias? Cool. But we need to do something about McCann. because he cannot be in the lineup tomorrow. You need your best hitters, your best nine that can give you some type of offense. And even if the Orioles do win tomorrow in game two, we know Zach Eflin is starting tomorrow. He doesn't walk a lot of people, so he does fit into what we need, not allowing the Kansas City Royals on the base paths. And one of to do that is to not give up easy opportunities with walks. Only one walk today for the Orioles. Fantastic. I think if they can continue to do something like that tomorrow, this will be another tight, nail biting, high blood pressure, boiling, pulse pounding game. 41,506. They were waiting for something to cheer for. And we didn't give them anything to cheer for. And it's unacceptable. People pay their hard earned money to come watch this game, regardless of ticket prices. And this is the product you're going to put out on the field. The lack of energy, the lack sense of urgency. You wasted Corbin Burnes' magnificent start. This guy's probably pitched potentially his last game in Baltimore, Orioles colors. And we let him go just like that. This man gave everything he had, and we just let it walk and go to waste. And now if he's with another team that can possibly give him some runs, think of what he could be. And we wasted it. And you can't get that back because he's not pitching again in this series. You're going to have to rely on Eflin. You're going to have to rely on Dean Kramer. You're going to have to rely on your bullpen. Because I can't rely on my offense to give me anything. If they give me anything over a run tomorrow, do you have faith that they can give you more than 2-3 runs tomorrow? And like I said, even if they do muster up a win, they've lost 9 consecutive games in the postseason. Do you think they can win 2 in a row against a really good team? Seth Lugo's pitching tomorrow. He's been fantastic. Ragans was great today. Michael Wacha, who could go into game 3 if necessary against Dean Kramer. They seem to have the potential edge, and they already won game 1. Last year, we saw it. All the teams that won game 1 advanced. No game 3s. So if history's any indicator, this series is over tomorrow. Burnes had to walk. His one walk came back and bite him. Came back to bite him. I said it was a hit. It was the walk to Michael Garcia with 1 out. His only walk. But the right guy got on base. He stole the base. He had 37 in the regular season. Did Garcia? He did it again in the postseason. Burnes doesn't do well against guys on the base path. He allowed 41 steals. I don't really think he cares too much. McCann doesn't really throw that great. Adley doesn't throw out guys that much. That's why I said I just would have went with Adley. Put in O'Hearn. I need the offense. I need the spark. Something. Bobby Witt did Bobby Witt things as mentioned. He got the hit to the left side. And that 1-0 lead, honestly, if you get a 1-0 lead over the Orioles right now, that's like having a 5-0 lead. You can breathe easy because this team, they can't come from behind like last year. The fight isn't there. The energy, the resiliency just isn't there. You can see it in the eyes of Brandon Hyde. He just looks like he knows his team is done. He knows they don't have anything left to fight for, honestly. It just seems like they're going through the motions and ready to get to 1-2-3 Cancun. And we'll see you in Sarasota in February for pitchers and catchers. If this is the end for Corbin Burnes, I'm going to miss him. We've been asking for my entire life for an ace like this. We trade for him. Don't give up too much. We get him. And we fumble him. And we fumble him like this. I didn't even think he was going to pitch this good. I saw maybe seven innings, maybe 7 innings, 2 runs, 4 or 5 hits. But I thought the Orioles would win this game. I thought they would win this series. I thought they would be able to limit the opportunities on the base path. I thought they would be able to work the count. They didn't do that. They let Bobby Witt beat them, and they didn't utilize anything offensively. They didn't hit the ball where it was pitched. They didn't get any opportunities to really get any runs. You have a guy on second, no outs, you don't score. Runners on the corners with 1 out, you don't score. We know Westberg flied out. We know Urias had the fortunate single. Ryan O'Hearn had a great leadoff walk, a leadoff base runner. I don't know why, and this was brought up. Why was Jackson Holiday not brought into the game to pinch run? Why is he on the roster if he's not going to come in a pinch run in that situation? Get on second. A single scores you, ties the game up. But it wouldn't matter anyway because a reg struck out Rutschman. I don't know what's going on with Alley. Is he hurt? Is he just bumming it up like I said? 2-2 pitch. I'm probably moving Alley down in the lineup, honestly. Today we went Henderson, Westburg, Santander, Mountcastle, Rutschman, Cowser, Urias, Mullins, and McCann. I may be putting Rutschman down there with Urias. I may be putting Cowser a little further up after Mountcastle. And then I may be putting Urias above Rutschman too. I may be putting Rutschman at the 6 or the 7 hole because I don't have any faith in what he's bringing to the table. Gunner, he's hacking at first pitches. A lot of guys were hacking at first pitches, and I get it. Where you're going against a great pitcher, you don't want him to settle in and to control the count. But you got to be smart at the same time. You got these guys, even the Royals didn't take a lot of pitches. Like I said, Burnes only threw 84 pitches. Ragans only threw 80. You didn't work any counts. You didn't have a lot of full counts, a lot of 2-2 counts. Now, like I said, the Orioles, could they win 2 in a row? Yes. That's why they play the game. Playoff baseball, we know, is unpredictable. But I don't have any faith that they can win not only 1 game, but 2 games. And if they're going to come back and win tomorrow, then lose game 3, they might as well lose tomorrow anyway and get it over with. Make it quick and painless. Because I don't want to sit here another night and complain to you and be negative and spew off negativity. I'm a lifelong Orioles fan. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. But when you can't score a freaking run, when you can't put anybody across the plate, when you have ample opportunities in the playoffs, obviously it's the playoffs. You're not going to get 3, 4, 5, 6 opportunities a game. But when you have 7 men left on base, when you have 2 crucial opportunities to get it done, when you have an all-time great pitching performance that you can't pitch any better besides a perfect, complete game, and you can't score a single run, you're swinging at pitches that are down in Annapolis. They're not even in Baltimore. They're down near D.C., down near Silver Spring, all the way outside near Delaware. We know they live and die by the home run, and they're dying right now. When you hit them, it's fantastic, but when you can't hit the ball out of the ballpark, we know left field is where baseballs go to die. And you're pitching, you're facing their best pitchers. They have really good pitchers. I would like to see us go after Michael Walker. They got Lugo. They have Ragans from the Aroldis Chapman trade last year. As mentioned, Lugo will go tomorrow against Zach Eflin, who's been a fantastic trade, as really as good as anybody post-trade deadline. Now, that is the one thing Michael Eyes did do well this year. Like I mentioned, we got Seth Lugo and Zach Eflin. I think Lugo had an all-star season. Was he all-star this year? He was 16-9 with a 3.0 ERA, 181 strikeouts, 1.09 whip. So he was fantastic. Like I said, he's going against Eflin. Eflin had 5 walks his last start in most of his career. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. And we're going to need another deep start from a starter. We're going to need Eflin to at least give us 7 and limit the bullpen's exposure. Like I said, I don't think Kansas City's offense is world beaters. They're not blowing us away. Vascatino came back. He was 0 for 3 with the walk. Bobby Witt had the single. But really outside of that, as mentioned, Lugo's going to start. Eflin's going to start. The Orioles are the better team on paper. But it just seems like the Royals have that fight that the Orioles used to have and that they can manufacture and scrap away the victory, even if they're not hitting home runs, even if their offense isn't beating down opposing pitchers. They found a way to win. Credit to them. Credit to Reagan. It doesn't get any easier with Lugo. And I'm not very optimistic, guys. I don't know what this team is going to be able to do offensively to get that spark. As mentioned, is it going to be O'Hearn starting the game? Are we going to see Kjerstad in the game earlier? Does Jackson Holiday get a pinch running opportunity? It's all come down to Eflin tomorrow. He's got to be as good as Burnes was. Basically, like I said, he's got to give us 6, 7 innings. Really can't be making many mistakes, can't really walk a lot of guys because these guys are going to get on base. You can't really walk more than maybe one or two guys. You got to go 6 or 7, and you can't really give up more than 2 runs. So essentially, you got to be perfect, Zach Eflin. So have fun. Now, this won't be Zach Eflin's last start in the Orioles uniform. He is signed through next year. So we'll have him. And if they do muster up a chance at a game 3, we will have Dean Kramer on the mound. But before we get to that, like I said, I don't have faith that they're going to win 2 in a row against the Royals. I think the Royals have the momentum. I think the Royals know what to do. Their pitchers are going to make pitches that may not be in the zone, and they're going to dare us to go after them. And they're probably going to go after them. And they're going to probably try to press and try to swing for the fences and try to do too much. And that could ultimately doom them. And like I said, Kansas City's offense really didn't do much. They only had 5 hits. But they still got some guys that can get you. Tommy Pham, Vescatino, Witt, Salvador Perez still behind the plate doing what he does. Calling wonderful games, playing great defense. My keys to this series were already shattered in game 1. Limit their opportunities on the base paths. Take and work the count. Don't let Bobby Witt beat you. And hit it where it's pitched. They did none of those things today. And hence a 1-0 loss. Like I said, you've waited these years to have a chance to have a guy like a Corbin Burnes to say, oh, I can go take a bathroom break, go walk the dog, go change the kitty litter, go change the baby, go make a phone call, go make a snack, go make a sandwich, go get a cold beverage. Because he's shutting it down. But this offense, they can't hit a softball underhanded thrown to him, let alone a major league sweeper or a fastball. Like I said, Mullins was the only lefty in the lineup starting the game, and he was the one with the hits. I think we'll see Mullins in the lineup tomorrow. Like I said, I don't really expect too many changes with the lineup. Like I said, I'm probably taking McCann out, putting Adley at catcher, and I'm putting O'Hearn at DH. And then I'm probably going to keep Urias in early, but probably if we get to the 3rd or 4th inning, whether we're winning, losing, whether it's a close game, I'm probably putting Kerstad in at some point to hit. And then I may do some type of double switch where I may put Holiday at 2nd and Westberg at 3rd. I wouldn't even mind seeing that. If you want to put Westberg at 3rd, you want to put Holiday at 2nd, keep the speed, keep the pressure on the Royals. But they're going to put Westberg at 2nd. They're going to put Urias at 3rd. He did have the hit today, whether it was a fluke or not. Like I said, I'm putting O'Hearn in there. He worked the wall. If anything else, work the count, people. If you're not hitting, there are other ways to impact the game. Work the count. Get on base with the walk. Bunt the ball. Do something. Stick your arm in there, get hit by a pitch. You gotta go all out. There is no tomorrow. This is your final game, your final opportunity. Like I said, if you tell me tomorrow Lugo goes out and shuts down the Orioles lineup, holds them to 5 hits, and gives up 1 run, I wouldn't be surprised. Pressure's on the Orioles. The Royals came in and did what they were supposed to do. They took home field. All they got to do is win 1 out of the next 2. The Orioles are already feeling the pressure. Everything that went well the last 2 weeks is gone just like that because you came back, you wet the bed, you laid the Orioles-sized egg, and you did everything you've been doing, kind of trending towards the past 2 or 3 months. This isn't the Minnesota Twins. I don't even think they got the best of the Yankees, honestly. This isn't the Rays. This isn't the Blue Jays. This isn't the Red Sox, who they didn't even beat 2 out of 3 of. This was probably the easiest out of the 2 matchups because if you got Detroit with Schoolboy and what we saw today, they'd be worse off. But I'm all out of everything I got to say. I don't know what more you want from me, Birdland. I broke it all down. I've given you every angle of it. They wasted Corbin Burnes' magnificent start. Wasted a lot of Birdland's time, money, and dedication to this team. And honestly, they deserve the Bluebirds. They deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve to be slapped. They deserve some slaps across their backside to give them some type of energy, some fire under them, and they need the belt because after a good ass whooping, maybe they can get that act right. The Royals haven't been in the playoffs in 9 years. Their first shutout victory on the road. Bobby Witt's only 24 years old, 211 hits, 332 batting average. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. The Royals are a really good team, though. They lost 106 games last year. They had a 30-win improvement, and they're back in the playoffs. They won the 2015 World Series last time they were in the playoffs, and a lot like that team in 2015, and I believe 2014 as well. They had a nice run where they got to the World Series and lost. They manufacture runs. They pitch well. Their starters give them a chance. They're pesky offensively. They get on base. They manufacture runs, steal bases. Advanced runners have productive outs, and they score when needed by any means necessary. I don't know where to go from here to the Orioles. You lost 9 straight postseason games. You know that's in the back of your mind. We know Brandon Hyde is feeling the pressure. We know these batters, Gunner, and everyone else is feeling the pressure. Brandon Hyde said he did his part, but that standing ovation when he walked off the field may be his last time in an Orioles uniform. Burnes became the first starter to throw a pitch in the ninth inning of a postseason game since Washington Steven Strasburg in Game 6 of the 2019 World Series. That's crazy. It just sucks to see. It sucks to see. It sucks to see because tomorrow's not going to be any easier. Like I mentioned, Lugo. The only advantage that the Orioles may have is that Lugo is making his first postseason start. But as I mentioned, he won 16 games, 1.81 WHIP, 3.0 ERA, which is really good in today's baseball. Eflin 10-9 with a 3.59 ERA. Eflin's going to have to bring his A game. He's going to have to be what they thought he would be getting him from Tampa. Like I said, the last start was shaky, but I'm expecting him to bounce back. Like I said, the Orioles could win tomorrow. But do they win game 3? Probably not. But I don't see them making it past tomorrow. I honestly don't. I don't see them being able to score enough runs or manufacture enough runs. I think Lugo is right there with Ragans. And like I said, if they do lose, they got Waka. Their bullpen is still probably all hands on deck. They'll probably give everything they have to try to win tomorrow and get it over with. And then they have a date with the Yankees waiting if they do make it. And then the Orioles really can sulk in the disappointment of this season. But what say you, Birdland? What say you, Orioles fans? A tough, devastating, disappointing performance by the Orioles today. They fall 1-0. Ninth straight postseason loss. And they are pretty much on the brink of elimination. They have 27 more outs or their season is over. And we won't see them until February when they show up in Sarasota. We saw this last year against the Rangers when they were down 0-2. It kind of just felt like after they lost that first game, especially at home, with some of the decisions made late in the game, in game 2, it just gave up the lead. Game 3, it was really, honestly, if you can't crowd into it, get the electricity of the ballpark going. Because I didn't feel it today. I don't know if it was the weather. I don't know if it was me because I was tired or just tired watching his team swing at bad pitches. But they got to do something to get this crowd into it. They can feed off the energy. Somebody's got to make a play. I'm calling somebody out. Somebody's got to step up. Gunner, Adley, Santander, you want to be $100 million plus man in the offseason? This is where you make your money at. Zach Eflin, we traded for you in moments like this. O'Hearn, Westberg, you had a couple good at-bats today. Urias, Cedric Mullins, can you continue your hot streak? Holton Cowser, you're the rookie of the year potentially. Show them why. Ryan Mountcastle, we wanted you back. But are you playing your last final games in the Orioles uniform? You could be a candidate to be out of here this season, in the offseason, I think. So guys are not only playing for their season, but they're playing for their potential careers here in Birdland, in my opinion, because if they go out like this, some wholesale changes need to be made, in my opinion. Not saying fire Brandon Hyde. Obviously, Michael Elias isn't going anywhere, but David Rubenstein, he's going to have to really reevaluate this roster with Michael Elias. They're going to have to sit down. They're going to have to open up their checkbook, open up their pocketbook, and collaborate on what Michael Elias and Brandon Hyde need to make this team competitive in the postseason. We've seen them be able to win in the regular season, make the playoffs, win 90 games, win 100 games, be at the top with home runs, and then this year have one of the best starting rotations. But they got to get their guys back healthy, and they got to figure out what this team needs to really get over the hump. Like I said, 9 straight postseason losses, that weighs on you. That doesn't make it any easier. That adds to the pressure. And it pretty much, like I said, tightens up the buttocks. And you got to think Brandon Hyde and his staff, the coaches, the pitching coach, the hitting coach especially, who could be on his last few days. They got to be feeling a little worried. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for watching. You're getting this video really late or really early, depending on where you're at. I had to get myself together. I had to have some therapy, let all my feelings out about the game. But make sure to subscribe if you're new. Leave us a like, leave us a thumbs up. Helps us out tremendously on the channel. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on Game 1. Do they have a chance to come back, or are they just done? It's the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your Orioles content how you want it when you need it. God's favorite host, O's fall 1-0. Waste a magnificent, immaculate Corbin Burnes start, which we brought him in here to do. Can't score a damn run, and the Royals get the Orioles yet again. And the Orioles have lost 9 consecutive postseason games. God's favorite host, signing off. We'll do it again tomorrow night. At some point, you'll see my reaction from Game 2. Is it me recapping the season and looking forward to the offseason? Or is it me talking about the Orioles finding a way to win and extend their season another day, Thursday, for Game 3. But Game 2 tomorrow, Zach Eflin, Julio Lugo, 4:30, first pitch. We'll be here to talk about it here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your Orioles coverage how you want it, when you need it. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.